How y'all doing? Y'all good? Man, y'all sound like y'all healing out here. Yeah. So this is the Black Men's Mental Health Panel. By show of hand, black ladies, are y'all looking forward to hearing what brothers need? Yeah? So we gonna get into some good dialogue. And to the brothers, say something. Y'all here? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Last year we had probably like 50 men in here. And about 300 women. But you know, women always healing. And then they'll take them 50 men. You need to heal. I'm not gonna go there. So let me get ready to introduce my panelists. On today, I have a group of great brothers that's gonna be joining me in this discussion. And toward the end, I wanna make sure that you guys get not just a lot of dialogue, but also get some tools, get some things that you can take away. I love to provide insight. As I tell people as a therapist, I'm not an expert. I'm just an expert in the process. When you show up as a client, you're the expert in your story. And what we do is, I'm the GPS, you're the driver. You tell me where you want to go and how you want to get there, and that's what a good therapist should do. And let me tell you something, vet every therapist. Everybody that says they're a therapist is not effective. Let me say that again. Everybody that's a therapist is not effective. If they're not culturally competent, if they're not available emotionally, and I like to say this, a therapist can only take you as deep as the work that they've done. Y'all tweet that, make sure you add me. All right, so let me introduce my first panelist. This is my good brother from another. We're actually on tour right now with the Just Heal Bro Tour, and we're leaving here going to Philly to help some brothers in Philly heal tonight. You seen him with Tyler Perry. I like to bug him. I call him Ruck. To some of you may call him Officer Troy. But this is my good brother, Lamman Rucker. You can sit wherever, good brother. Right in the middle. Yeah, sit right in the middle so they can look at this specimen. Bro, let me tell you something, bro. You are wearing the hell out of this salt and pepper beard, man. Dude.
It's gonna be you next, so.
Dude, if I look like you, I'm so excited.
Well, you beat me to the beard, I beat you to the salt. So you got the pepper, I got the salt.
My next brother from the city of Detroit, founder and driving force behind expanding the footprint of Inception, my good brother, David McCullar. David, I need a hoodie. I need a hoodie.
What up, go? What up, go?
7 Mile or 8 Mile?
8 Mile.
8 Mile?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't look like I'm from 8 Mile?
I always ask, because you know when people say to Detroit, you know, you think of 8 Mile. But then I found out they had a 7 Mile.
Oh, we got like 20-something miles.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was just trying to see what you're gonna say. You know what I mean? All right. Dean and Paulette Gooder, professor of the social work at NYU, the Silver School of Social Work. This brother got some fly tennis shoes on. Dr. Micheal Lindsey. What's up, good brother? I had to tell him, I said, bro, them shoes is fly. I said, what's the name of them? He was like, Off-White. He's like, all right. I walk up to him to let him know I'm interested, so I'm like, what, they run by 680? Yeah, something like that. I'm like, all right.
That's what happens when you got doctor on the front of your name. Yeah.
And you know what? I will be joining you August 2023, 1 year of my doctoral program.
And I'll be following you after that.
And then I'm gonna go buy me some Off-Whites. Next brother, director of partnership for the Black Men Heal. This brother had took his salt and pepper beard to a whole nother level. Mr. Doug Reed.
He got the salt and pepper dome too.
Man. hey, listen, man. I love to see black men aging well, man.
Hey, man.
Y'all brothers look good.
We sharp, man.
Look good.
We sharp.
I was telling him backstage, I was like, I know it's fall. He said, I am autumn. Listen, healing is work. Y'all better laugh. Last but not least, licensed clinical psychologist, professor, author, and public speaker and choreographer, Dr. Jonathan Mathias Lassiter. All right.
Now you gotta come down the line, man. Come get your love. Come get your dap, bro.
And he must plan on talking a lot. He got his water bottle with him. He done got the wrong person to moderate. I ain't seeing no clients today. I feel free. All right, so I want to set this stage, and I want to give you guys some context. 90% of black people have admitted to using religion as a coping mechanism, rather than seeking mental health counseling or mental health professions. So, as me and David was talking last night, we know how to do church. We know how to take it to the altar, Charlamagne, and we'll pick it right back up. And we don't know how to leave it there. So what we've learned how to do is we've learned how to cope rather than to really deal with our stuff. And now we're seeing it perpetuated in our youth, because these are generations that have hid from healing. And so now you have a epidemic amongst black men when it comes to suicide. The percentage has risen up to 80%. In 2019, this was before the pandemic, 2019, the second leading cause of death amongst black males ages 15 to 24 was suicide. 60% black girls will attempt, but black boys are more successful. And let me tell you something, people. Our trauma has become the most profitable thing in America. Just want y'all to sit with that. And I want to start by setting the stage of these brothers who have contributed to the mental health crisis, mental health community. And I want to start with you, Dr. Lindsey, on the work that you've done. How have you contributed to what we have with this epidemic today, not just in suicide, but just in mental health overall as it pertains to black and brown people?
Well, as you mentioned, around the suicide rates, a few years ago, it was actually our team at NYU and some others that actually documented the rising rate of suicide among black youth. And we took it, Dr. Alfie's in the house, Charlamagne was involved in this as well. We took it to Congress. And Congresswoman Bonnie Watson Coleman heard our cry for an emergency task force, and we were able to establish that emergency task force with the Congressional Black Caucus, and it led to some legislation that actually passed in the House to bring attention to this issue around, around what's happening with our youth, bringing more attention to it, more research, because we really don't know what's behind these rising trends. Well, we do know because we live it every day, right? But in terms of the research that's out there, it hasn't been about us. It hasn't documented our situation. So what I've been doing is really being on the front lines of bringing attention to this issue through the research, but not just stopping there. You know, researchers typically live in an ivory tower. I wanted to take it beyond that. And everywhere I go, churches, you know, in the community, we're talking about this issue.
And awesome, man. And thank you for your work that you're doing in this. Doug, I want to go to you. We were having a conversation in the back. When you think about suicide today amongst black men, what do you think a lot of this is attributed to from the work that you've done with Black Men Heal?
Well, Jay, I think a lot of it, and I was fortunate to go to a school in Philadelphia right before I came up here. You know, a lot of times, all our trauma that we went through happened as a child or in our early ages. And we carry that weight for so long. Some of us can deal with it in different ways where, you know, we get the resources, we see a therapist, or There's some accountability with people we're around. But a lot of times that pressure gets on us, and we don't want to be here anymore. We want the pain to stop. And that's what we're actually learning, that people want the pain to stop. And that plays a big part even in our youth. And, thank God for, organizations like the Akoma Project that's working with youth. But that's what Black Men Heal is all about, being able to get men in a free space, for them to get therapy, for them to understand their traumas, the same work that you do. So I think it's very instrumental as me being a voice, a mental health advocate, just to speak about my journey, my disclosures, and to be vulnerable and open to everything that we do.
Awesome, man. David, I want to go to you because the work that you do in the mental health field is very different, is very innovative, unconventional, and I love it. How has it impacted you personally with the work that you're doing, and also with the work that needs to be done in our community, especially when it comes to Black men?
How has what impacted me?
The work that you do at Inception.
Oh, for me? Oh, man.
And how can it impact Black men?
Well, one, I was dealing with panic attacks, anxiety, insomnia, depression, and I'll be damned if I was going to continue living like that. This is 2007, so I sought out 60 different alternative healing modalities to help myself, and I understand that neuroplasticity is your brain can wire and change itself, and your mind and body aren't separate. That's one of the biggest illusions that's taking place. And that separation from the mind and the body separates you from me and you, and it separates you from the earth that you stand on. That's why we don't take care of it, because we really don't take care of ourselves. So the tools that I use is about, everybody's talking about coping. Like, y'all want to continue living like that? Like, y'all want to continue with the depression and anxiety? That's what y'all want to do for the rest of your life? Like, you want to take a pill for the rest of your life? That wasn't me, because my background is network engineering and management. We troubleshoot computers. Guess what the body is? It's a form of technology. It's the most advanced technology on the face of the planet, and you live in it. It makes up your entire experience. There is no experience without your body. So when you think about the temple that we've been going to church and hearing about, we went and made all these external buildings, but the temple is right here.
Come on, David. You teaching better than they listen, man.
So this work that you do as you go along your journey is, we heard the word unlearn earlier. How about undo? You ever hit technology and you did a typo and you hit the undo button? Well, think about all your traumas. Guess what? Your body just did what it was supposed to do to protect you. So now you need to support it to move out of that pattern. So our technologies and our services is about emptying that cup, because people in here are filled up. The cup is filled to the brim. Quick survey. How many people in here wake rested? Raise your hands if you feel you want to be vulnerable. How many people wake rested? Look around.
Not many.
Wow.
What are we talking about? What are we talking about? We don't even sleep. We don't even recover.
As I like to say, we're sleeping, but we're not resting.
No, we're not.
And what has really happened, our soul is tired. And our soul is worn down. So
the work gives you the real wealth. You know what that is? It's your internal resources. Because when you're in fight, flight, freeze, and now they got another one, fawn, we're going to keep going with these protection patterns, right? But if you're stuck and your brain is using your protection to protect you, cognition shut down, immunity shut down, ability to focus and concentrate diminish, adrenaline, cortisol raised. Like, people will go to our website and say, they'll come to the chat bot and say, well, how do I book an appointment? Do you know it's like 8 different book now buttons on the website? Why can't they see that? It's because the information is dropping from your field of awareness. Every one of you who didn't raise your hands about waking rested, you might have came here and learned a lot of things, but it's probably dropped from your field of awareness because you can't take in more. You got to take that phone out, delete them pictures, delete them movies, right? And it's there's a systematic way of doing that. So for me, is all about doing the work to get in touch with who you really are. And who you really are is perfect.
That's good. I want to go to Lamman and then come back to Dr. Lassiter. Lamman, what does doing the work looks like? Talk to the brothers about that. And I want Dr. Lassiter to follow.
Yeah, it really is an amalgamation of everything we've talked about. Me and Linz go back to undergrad together. I'm an IT guy, and I talk about the concepts and the same work, especially metaphorically and as an educator and counselor, and and somebody doing this work as an artist comes from the same, structural anatomy and physiology, everything, right? And breaking things down the same way. I used to be the one taking apart computers and putting them back. You know what I mean? I'm a programmer, so I talk a lot about how we're programmed, how we're conditioned, and the power that we have to deprogram, reprogram, delete, repeat, if, then, else, right? We got all these different concepts. The concepts are already here. So a lot of what we need to know, we already know, y'all. And part of it's not important. Thanks, y'all. No, don't worry about it. Okay, thank you, brothers.
We technology, we can't have it.
Hey,
we can't do
hey, right now, that shit ain't important.
Let's go, baby.
You know what I mean?
Let's go, baby.
It's about you, it's about us, and it's about, again, kind of what we talk about was tapping out, right?
That's right.
So there are things like that, Jay, that I've learned, or things that I had to not even so much just unlearn, but relearn, remind myself, because we're already born with this consciousness. We already have this spiritual intelligence. We already have this understanding. We're connected to all of these eternal, divine sources of brilliance, of creation, of the origin and magnificence of everything. It is us. We are the walking manifestation of all of that, in spite of any daggers and cuts and, all of that, in spite of that. And then as black people, come on, man, don't get out of here. There's nothing we can't do. There's nothing we aren't evidence of how the power of transformation, and not just survival, but living and doing this at a high level, at a high vibration. So what is that information? Where is that? And again, where is that within you? And that has been what I've learned is really my walk, has been, yes, this is about everybody else, and that I've learned my purpose here is to serve. It ain't even about me. But even in order to do that, I gotta know me. I gotta have my shit together.
Yeah.
And not only, and this isn't only about our traumas, our trials and tribulations. This is about my brilliance, this divine knowledge and information and inner power I'm talking about. This is about the joy and jubilation that exists. Getting back to that. It's already there. So for me, one of the primary tools that I've learned and that I practice to use that is being an artist, is tapping into what the creative spirit is. That is God's spirit, God's voice, God's power within you. Creativity is everything, right? None of us would exist without being created, right? But everything starts with an idea. Everything starts with, we know how to solve problems, right? People coming up with all these hacks online, hacks. I did that because I was broke. I had to figure it out, right? Or I did that because I had a limited amount of time. It's not all about being in deficit. We don't invent brilliant things because we're in deficit. We create brilliant things because we're brilliant. So it's getting back to that voice. What is it? What are you here for? How do you work? What's the work that needs to be done? How does that exist inside of you so that that light comes through you, beams through you, and it emanates and illuminates through you? So it's just being quiet, pray, meditate, go to the water, listen to the birds, play with kids, whatever it is, but figure out who you are and how this power is going to work through you. Not if, it's there. So your duty is to find it, eliminate the distractions, find it, tap in, and that's also where the healing's going to come from. But it really is about
I want to go to
power,
Dr. Lassiter. Talk about distractions and how we use distractions to keep us from healing. Because what it is coping mechanisms.
No, thank you so much for that, and I appreciate everything that the panelists have said so far. As I hear you all talk and I hear your question about distractions, I think about the work that I do with my clients, and so much of the work that I do as a psychologist doing therapy with a lot of my clients are Black men is being quiet, getting slow, slowing down, and getting close to the pain. We have so many, Instagram quotes and so many memes that like, you can do it, king, all that stuff, right? And that's cool. We are all of those things. But we may know that here, but we can't psych ourselves out here. The healing comes here. And no matter how many times we may be in community with each other, which is essential.
Yes.
And we say, you can do it, brother, look at you, blah, blah, right? That's cool. But until you are able to look yourself in the mirror without blinking and get close to those very hard messages that we have internalized. You're not man enough, you're not good enough, you don't have enough money. Until we can face those things and really get to the root and core and sit with them. Again, not tell ourselves, oh, I'm better. We are better, but we need to sit with the hurt. That's the only way we metabolize it.
Man, that's so good. That's so good. For the brothers that are out there, here's what I want to say to you, brothers. One of the things that we have to eliminate is it's okay, bro, to not be good.
Yes.
This whole Superman putting his cape on, it's exhausting. See, the reality of it is I like to say we're really Clark Kent. And yeah, we all have this superpower where you put the cape on and you feel great, but there's some time, brother, you got to go in that booth, as he says, and sit with it. See, what we've learned to do is, here's what they've learned, and even music exec, even everywhere, NFL, everybody's just throwing more stuff at us. Give them more money. Give them more women. Give them more alcohol. Give them more drugs. And all it's doing is creating a deeper void. So by the time you show up in a relationship, you show up at the workplace, you're just a shell because you haven't sat with it. And most of us, we live in a house full of broken mirrors. We refuse to really sit and look at it. For the past 2 years, we've been talking about creating space. You know what I'm telling people now? Hold the space.
Yeah.
Right.
Hold it.
Right.
Hold the space. Because what we do is we walk you into the room and you have to revisit it. What therapy really is give you an understanding of what took place in your past and how it's showing up in your present behavior.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that gives you context on how you can move forward for your future. And for the brothers here, when brothers begin to heal, it's going to heal our communities.
Yep. Yep.
When we begin to heal, it's going to heal our families. Think about this. How many of y'all have children, brothers, sons, men out here? How many of y'all have kids? Let me tell y'all something, brother. What you don't conquer, your children will struggle with. What you don't conquer, your children will struggle with, because transgenerational trauma is real.
Yes.
Kids are fighting stuff they don't even know where it come from. They don't know why they promiscuous. They don't know why they got a roll of blunt big as this, tall as this mic stand that the man had up here earlier. Because their anxiety is so high. So, brother, it's important that you heal. And let me tell you something. Healing is a journey.
Yes.
You hear Charlamagne talk about it. I've talked about it. 10 years ago, my godmother found me under the bed because I OD'd, second suicide attempt. And it wasn't until I got in therapy and she said, you have got to get some help. And what we do, oh, I'm good, I'm good. You're not good, good brother. So I want each one of you to...
I say something. You notice how everybody asks you how you doing and it's always good. Is that the only descriptor we have?
Yeah.
Good? How about you just be great? And not saying that you need to say that to psych yourself out, but you're still in this experience. You're still here, right? So you still get the opportunity to go do that work. But that work, again, like you said, there's real things you have to do. We technology, right? We background technology. There's a process you have to go through. And a part of that process, so we talk about, can I talk about floating for a second?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the float tanks. So I've sat probably 1,000 hours in a sensory deprivation tank over the last 8 years. No light, no sound, no gravity. You're talking about sitting with yourself, right? Shit, you get in there, all your stuff comes up. And then they wondered, Charlamagne, hell yeah, because he was in there. He wanted to know if cameras was in there. He's like, y'all got cameras in there? I'm like, dude, we ain't trying to see you naked. But you got that sensory deceleration. I walked outside. I'm not from New York. This is probably my second time here. I walked down Times Square, and I had to come back because I felt like I was going to get stabbed. There's too many people coming for me left, right. Like, I'm from Detroit. My head.
David, they not going to stab you, good brother. They trying to get to their train.
Yo, but...
That's good.
but the amount of stimulus, we're overstimulated. And how many of you are sitting scrolling? Every scroll, every post you look at, your brain has to process. And many of you are suffering from opinion fatigue. You're tired of opinion. What you think about Kanye? Why do I think about Kanye? I didn't know that I was supposed to think about him.
Yeah.
Why do I think about any of these things? I didn't want to see a monkey driving a go-kart like that. Like, why is that in my process? So now you got to think, all that stuff you're processing, if you have to process that, guess what takes away from? Your attention. You're paying attention. That's your real resource. We can get it back, but we got to sit with ourselves. Go float. Go do body-based modalities. The issues are literally in the tissues. This is not metaphorically. Yep. It's in your body. Yep. So let's deal with the body.
Awesome. So as we close out, man, this is so good, man. Are y'all enjoying this?
Yeah, look, they saying, y'all don't want us to go nowhere, huh?
Yeah.
We'll be back.
Take a quick commercial break. So I want to start with you, Dr. Jonathan, and I want everybody 2 minutes or less. One of my questions is, how can women support men?
Uh-oh.
In that, so let me give this. Wait a minute, ladies. Wait a minute. What
you doing, Jay?
Listen. Hold on. Hold on. This is one of my questions.
That's another conference.
I don't think we got enough time, Jay.
This is one of my questions. David says a simple answer. Let me preface this. Support, not heal him.
Right.
Aid him, not heal him. You can't heal him, good sister. I know you feel you got that work, and I know you feel you can get in the kitchen, baby, I can cook better than your mama. Listen, that's not gonna heal him. What you gonna create is a trauma bond, and you gonna create a stronghold that you can't get away from, but you can't leave him alone because the trauma has bonded you guys. That's a whole nother conference, but anyway. But
See, that's the point. See?
So starting with you, Jonathan, 2 minutes or less, how can women, because I know there's a lot of women here who have brothers in their life, whether it's a family member, whether it's a spouse, how can they support in that process?
Yeah, so I'll say, as a black, same gender-loving man, one of the ways that the women in my life have helped me the most is by reflecting God back at me.
Now, you got to explain that. You just can't say that.
Yeah.
Because, we talk about God.
Right. So what I mean by that is, I remember when I was in college and I was trying to come to terms with my sexuality. I grew up in a very Christian household. And my best friend, still best friend to this day, she looked at me and she said, "You believe that God doesn't make mistakes, right?" And I was like, yeah. She was like, "So why did God make a mistake with you?" You are walking in your purpose. You are exactly who God wants you to be, right? So she reflected God back at me in that moment, and then in that moment, I was able to see I am congruent and I am not a problem. So by reflecting God back to the men, yeah, well, we got flaws, but reflect God back. I think that's one of the primary ways.
Man, that's
that women
good.
can help.
Doug?
Great question, Jay. First I'll say, even with my journey to Black Men Heal, our founder is a woman, Tasman Suleiman, and our co-founder is Ikea Williams. But the thing with this journey was, even how I got affiliated with Black Men Heal, somebody thought I should be part of their executive board. You know what I mean? And it was like, okay, well, go talk to Taz and see about being on the executive board. So I went, and she said, no, we don't have an executive board. We don't have anything like that. And I said, sis, I need therapy. And at that moment, I got courageous enough to admit that I needed therapy. There was a woman there to say, hey, I will extend my embrace. I think about my mother, I think about my wife, my beautiful wife. They were the foundation. And even to go back to from a spiritual standpoint, because healed men do heal men. And the thing about it is, if you heal a man within himself, and I said this last year, he heals his family.
Yes.
He heals his community.
Yes, come on.
He heals the world. But that's one king at a time, though. So when you look at that like that, and you think about most of us came from single family homes. Our mother was our foundation. She was my foundation. She gave me what I am. God gave me my gifts, my talent, my skills and ability. But who I am was because of a woman. And for them to identify, I will tell these queens to identify working with a man, give him the space, give him the boundaries, give him the respect, trust him in what he does, and it'll be reciprocal. I guarantee you that, because I'm up here as a living sacrifice to show every man that's in here. First, learn how to forgive yourself.
That's good. Woo. Ruck?
For me, man, there's so many ways to go with this question, but I'll lean into this particular principle. I believe that one of the things that's been very profound for me when it comes to your question and women, it hasn't even been as much in the relationship, romantic relationship dynamic, as much as it is in my observations in general of other women. As an educator, we talk about hidden curriculum. There's all these words that are used about, as a teacher, for example, as an educator, how you teach. If you always say, good job, young man, but you say, nice job, young lady, you're teaching that it's okay to touch her, but you don't touch the boy, as if a boy doesn't need touch, or as if the girl does. So you're saying things without being aware that you're saying things, for lack of a better example. So what I learned to do and what came to my attention a long time ago, and this is also, like I said, as an artist, as an actor, you learn to watch human behavior. I learned so much about women by how you all treat each other and how you treat other men, not even so much how you treat me. So what you can do for us is treat all of us with love, grace, respect, consideration. Respect my body the same way I'm supposed to respect yours. Woo, right? So there's things like that. There's a consistency that we need from you. And before I even ask it of you, I have to see that you even have the capacity. So if you are treating someone else a certain way, I'm not even going to ask anything of you that you've already shown me you're incapable.
Oh, my.
Now, not that that's fair. I'm not saying that's fair. And I know I'm pissing you off, but I ain't scared of you.
Come on, boy.
And I'm actually saying this not only out of love, but because I need you.
Oh, man.
You understand me?
We run out of time, bro. We run out of time.
I told you we need a conference for this.
We run out of time.
Hey,
Come on,
Jay,
doctor.
I can't throw the mic.
Come on.
You know what I mean?
He throw a phone, I throw the mic, I'll be out of here.
So let me wrap it up. You understand where I'm coming from, but that's what's so key. And some of that comes from your own pain. I love you, I want to protect you, I want to take care of you, I want to give you a soft place to land and a firm place to be held. However, Before I can do that for you, I need to know that you have not only the capacity, but the actual, true, sincere, and authentic interest to share that with me.
Woo. Woo. Come on, Doc. Ruck. Do you listen?
Play with me, man.
At my
Don't
church,
play with me.
At the Potter's house, you know, you can give online. Do you have a PayPal where we can give an offering?
Right now, it's at Just Heal Bro. That's where you, at Just Heal
Yeah,
Bro.
I want to sow a seed in your ministry, sir.
That's Greenleaf. That's Greenleaf.
Yeah.
Hey, man, it's on camera, wherever you can find. Greenleaf, Black Hamptons, shout out Black Hamptons. Show some love. A lot of people show some love.
I'm actually going to lean into something that my brother said, which is that when we're kids, we're not given an opportunity to express ourselves. We tell boys, don't cry. We tell them, man up.
Yeah.
We tell them to be tough. It's going to be all right, all of that stuff, right? And it doesn't give us an opportunity to express our emotions across a range. We don't have words to put to how we feel because we're taught to man up and tough it out and don't articulate what the pain is. And so what happens then is that pain turns inward. Whether you're smoking it out, drinking it out, whether you're acting it out on somebody else, it's because you haven't been given that opportunity to have an expression, a range of expression about what it is that you're feeling inside. We can help young brothers, men, women can help them express themselves. It's not so much how are you good, how are you feeling? Talk to me about what you're feeling right now. And for me, it wasn't until I actually got into my own therapy. I was a therapist, providing therapy, and went into my own therapy, and my therapist said to me, why are you so angry? What are you angry about? I didn't even realize I was angry. But I grew up in a single parent home. My mom used to make me have a relationship with my father. I felt it was disingenuous because he wasn't what he was supposed to be. But all those things, I couldn't express that. I was just told to do. And so what you can do in closing is help young men express themselves.
That's good.
Because one more thing.
Yeah.
If you can't talk about something, it's out of control.
Woo. Man, y'all brothers. David?
So it's simple for me. Again, I'm all about processes, right? It's heal. Do your work. Do your own work. Because once you heal and become healthy, healthy people attract healthy people.
Man.
But if you've been programmed that all men are dogs, that's in your mindset. But guess what? Healthy people create boundaries. So they create boundaries and they enforce boundaries. So if you let them dogs in your life, whose fault is that?
I don't know. They may work for the pound. I don't know.
No. So you go do your healing work. Go through every system in your body and empty that vessel out. Remove those blocks that stop that God energy to flow through you. Understand that you are a human being, but you are really a spiritual being having a human experience.
Yes, sir.
Right? Y'all got trapped in your story, internal story that's happening in your body, right? But you got to turn that post-traumatic stress that's in here to post-traumatic growth. So once again, you do your work, I do my work. And when we come together, we'll turn that wilderness that we've been walking around in for 400 years or however long is we waiting to get to a promised land. No, that wilderness that you feel inside, you got to transmute that and turn that into the promised land.
Come on, David. And
His name ain't David
man,
for no reason.
I know it. David. Well, you got 5 rocks in your pocket, don't you? Boy, throwing
Those are
stones of
Altoids.
wisdom. So, tell them about Inception. And I mean, you know, I've done flotation and done a lot of work, and I'm telling you, the work is fascinating.
So back to this thing. Okay, so traditional therapy, you're a therapist, like that cup that got to be poured out, y'all going to the therapist, and the therapist, y'all burning them out, trying to pour that cup out.
That's why we need to be in our own therapy.
Because that's
Yeah. Healers need healing too.
And I don't trust a therapist who don't have a therapist.
yeah.
'Cause who's healing you?
That's like going to the barber and his hair's jacked, man.
Yeah.
Like, you need a haircut. He gonna cut my hair, you need a haircut.
So within this process, again, Inception, the first mental health gym, we use 21st century technology to help the brain and the body to support it. Because people always think that we're coming in, that we're doing something to you. We're not doing anything to you. We're just helping your body give it support so that it has the space that it begin to process all the events that took place. Because everybody keeps talking about trauma. Where's the trauma? Where's that? Right here? Right here? So where you should be spending the time is here. So this process you go through, we got 90-minute circuits. One of them is called the inner reset. Another one is the inner detox. The other one is the inner recharge. So we're taking you through this systematic process that's using a mental health automation. Right now, people are going into Inception, and I'm not there. I'm not talking to them, and my staff is not talking to them because it's about supporting the body first, getting that body to regulate. So then those triggers that you keep trying to just write down and go through all this avoidance for the rest of your life, you got to diffuse those things, and you diffuse it through the body. So, and that's how we do it at Inception. And right now, we're actually launching our reset station. We just put one in a nonprofit down in Southwest Detroit, this Detroit Hispanic Development Corporation, working with kids from 6 to 25. Our reset station uses 3 different technologies in a 30-minute time frame, and you should see these kids' transformation from one session. Wow. The people coming into Inception right now, coming in with scores. We score everybody before they come in. Let's say that the high score is 60. Those scores are dropping in half in symptomology in one session. Can you imagine? Right? So this is the process that the brother Charlamagne has been very helpful with and allowing us to one, we're gonna put one of these reset stations in Charleston at the end of the year. So this is a systematic way. Use the automation, use the technology to put people through, and then use the human touch for the other side. Right. But we can't be burning our people out because that energy, you just got to keep spilling it out. Because that energy you spilling out is not going to resolve itself until you resolve it.
Listen, did y'all enjoy this panel discussion? So before we close, can I get Brother Charlamagne on the stage before we close? Come on, good brother. Come on, good brother.
Now you want it.
So if you follow me on Instagram, King J Barnett, I buy flowers every week. My grandmother loved flowers, and I got involved in buying flowers, and I have this hashtag called Blowers, Brothers Who Love Flowers. So my mission after I'm done changing the world is to open up a flower shop for men. And one of the things I want black men to do, brothers, one of the best forms and greatest form of self-care I ever found was buying flowers for myself. Most times, we only get flowers at death. We only receive flowers at death. And so I went and got breakfast this morning in Central Park, and I walked in this flower shop. I'm in the Upper West Side, Doug. Dude tells me, I go in this flower shop. I said, how much are your roses? My roses in Texas, $1 every Tuesday.
Oh, you're in New York. You're in New York.
Dude tell me, Charlamagne, $9. I said, big dog, for one rose? I said, what's the difference between you and Trader Joe's? He talking about it's just an upper grade. Dude, a rose is a rose. Don't play me. But so I kept walking. I go to Trader Joe's. I found this beautiful bouquet. Yeah. But let me tell you guys something. You guys see this, but the behind the scene work that this brother does and how he advocates.
Give it up. Give it up.
Is special. It's special. And as a black man, the reason this Mental Wealth Alliance and this expo is happening for the second year is because this black man opened himself up to the world through his healing process. The reason you see a Jay Barnett today is because of Charlamagne. When we connected, our friendship and our brotherhood is real. It's not like I check on this brother every week, every other week if I miss, because here's the thing. When you stand up and start sharing pieces of yourself and exposing yourself, let me tell you, it's the scariest thing. It's the scariest thing to show your wounds. But I got him some flowers today because I want to honor him and let him know that he's appreciated. Bring those flowers. Hold those up. Bring them. So to my brother Charlamagne, brother, I'm not gonna wait till you're in the ground. I'm gonna give you your flowers now, brother. We love you, man. And to my other brother, we're on tour right now with the Just Hill Bro Tour. We have our awesome manager, Hope Allen, here. I wrote this book a year ago, Just Hill Bro, that is now a nationwide tour. And Lamman and we're leaving here going to Philly tonight for a tour. His birthday was the other day, and I got you some flowers. Bring them flowers. Yes, for you. Hey, these are beautiful, man. Listen, put them in the water, put some sugar in there, some ice cube. They're gonna last about 3 weeks. Thank you, guys.
That's gangster right there. That's gangster. That's gangster.